Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Talkin' Top Tier. I am your host, always doing the most, Tone the Boss. This week, we have a very special guest. This guy actually helped bring me back from obscurity, motivated me to get back in the studio, and we have made some hits. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Mr. Anderson.
Thank you. Thank you.
See, I got you your air horns.
I like it. I was hoping you had some.
Man, we have a lot to talk about. I think the last time we caught up was the Finally album.
Yep, a year ago.
Yeah.
Almost.
Before we get into A Dark Alley in Cedar Rapids, let's kind of recap some of the accolades from the Finally album, what was done then, and how we ended up getting here.
So, the Finally album, that was the one that we kind of brought each other out. I mean, I was musically blocked too. And basically what happened was we just started, we were going to do one song together, and before we knew it, we did a whole album together. And then the actual Finally track with you and Elizabeth, Von Presley, and Crazy Bone, it just blew up. And that made me really happy because that song means a lot to me. So, and then just out of nowhere, after that came out, I was so pumped. I just wanted to make another album. And it took a year, so that's better than in the previous. It took 10 years. But yeah, I just started working right away and learning more stuff and reaching out to new people. And A Dark Alley in Cedar Rapids was born. So.
Yeah. So let's go a little bit farther back. What got you into the music? You said it took 10 years. What were you doing 10 years before that?
Well, I mean, I've told this story. I got a drum set when I was 10. My parents were huge into music. They were going to concerts all the time. They'd throw me on their shoulders and dance around the Rolling Stones and Fleetwood Mac in the living room. And then I played a lot of instruments in junior high school, college. Then I started DJing at a lot of different clubs here in Cedar Rapids. And then I decided I wanted to create some new music, and I started studying Pro Tools, actually Steinberg, Wavelab, Cubase, and then Pro Tools. And then I was in a band. I DJ'd in a band, strictly on top. For you older folks out there, we did a lot of cover songs, but it was dope. And then I just started to kind of take a break, and I just was blocked. And I reached out to you one day because we worked together, and you came over, and we just kind of started messing around, and before I knew it, we were making music every night.
So the music that we make, I love it, and it's so different. It's like it's alternative everything. Like what genre would you classify? I mean, you can't even classify it as one, but what genres would you say you specialize in, and what motivates you to do that style of music?
So I specialize in non-genre because so there's a lot of people out there that'll sit around and listen to pop music or listen to what's hot now and recreate it. That's really simple to do. Anybody can do that. And I really try to just do something different. I'll see a movie or see a painting or, read a book or anything, and I'll try to create something different. But to be, in all honesty, if I was to say what kind of genre, I would rename it to Midwest Hyphy.
Midwest Hyphy, which is a record on the Finally album.
Yeah,
it's pretty fire. Before we get into the Dark Alley in Cedar Rapids, so talk about the struggles of getting to this album from the last, some things that you would like to see more of from other artists, and like what motivates you to collaborate with everybody? Like, what's your actual goal or intention?
So let me see if I can remember all three questions. So,
sorry.
No, you're good. So to start, I get up and I spend about 2 to 3 hours every day just scouring the internet. And you've seen I set up playlists for different artists I find. I look for independent artists, or I look for artists that haven't been huge in a long time. And I put them in different playlists, and I study their work, and then I try to reach out to them if I find something that I think will fit into something that I've created. Mm-hmm. That's actually something I'm very passionate about. I'm on like T-Pain's Twitch channel. I'm on all these different things, finding these artists so that I can reach out to them and try to help them succeed and make magic, make good music. I found St. Josh, and I found Ivy Marie from Kentucky, and all these people. I have somebody from around the world in Norway. But I try to find these different obscure artists before they get big and try to work with them.
Yeah. And thanks to you, I'll get to local in a second, but some of the mainstream people that I've got to work with, Crazy Bone, for instance, Ness from the band, like that's amazing. So you're reaching out to mainstream artists and independent
Elizabeth
artists.
Von Presley.
Well, that's what I wanted to get to is you're putting records together with these local artists, and it's local artists that typically don't work with each other.
Right.
I've known of Elizabeth, she's known of me, and for us to finally have a track together, pun intended,
Yeah, I like
finally,
it. Yeah.
That's absolutely amazing. It's something that I would have loved to see happen, but just the right occasion didn't occur until that record was made. One of my favorites on A Dark Alley in Cedar Rapids is the Put Me in the Ground remix, where you put two of my favorite local rappers together, Klazik and Crate. Those two have never met, been in the same city for years, but somehow you were the person that kind of the glue that put everything together as a producer. You're kind of doing like a DJ Khaled of Iowa type of deal. So I think that's pretty cool. So kudos to you on that.
Thank you.
Looking at the track list here, somebody that we work with a lot is Devmo. She's amazing. How did you come across her?
So Devmo is another one that I saw on, it might have been Instagram, I'm not sure. And I hit her up, and she was nice enough to reply. And ever since 4 years now, I think I've been working with her. And it's not just features. Like I'll hit her up, and she'll give me advice, and she'll, she's just an awesome person. Yeah.
Very genuine person. She's helping me right now with sync placements, and she's all over the place. Like she was on Just Dance 2022 and just TV shows, and she's going crazy. So that's cool that you found somebody on the rise. Shout out Devmo. Someone else you put me on was LA the Goat, Jermaine Dupri's artist. I would have never found him, heard of him. You put us on, we reached out, we got the record, and that's actually, I believe, my second or third highest streaming record. So kudos to you. You still get credit for that one. I would have never heard of the guy. And, we got to work with him. We went to his hometown, and it was pretty cool. So, I love that, like, again, you're the glue that's putting everybody together. So
appreciate that.
I want to get into A Dark Alley in Cedar Rapids. So to really get into it, finally was really kind of like, finally, if there was an emoji, it'd be that emoji that's like blowing that air out like, finally.
Yeah, no.
A Dark Alley in Cedar Rapids, the title, how did that come about?
So I really, really wanted to really help Cedar Rapids and the Midwest. But I talk to you about this all the time. In this day and age, I'm really sick and tired of music being successful only on how many views or how many followers you have. Mm-hmm. Social media has taken complete control over music, and it's just sickening. And there's so many artists like you and a lot of the local artists that just don't get any credit because they don't have any followers. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to do my best to help. I wanted to I saw the talent. And I wanted to bring different people together, like you said. And I crafted different beats and stuff with different artists in the Midwest in mind. And then I kind of wanted it to get a little grimy, and I just always thought of this alley downtown, and I worked next door to it, and it's always raining and dark in there, and I just thought, let's bring something good out of this darkness.
All right. We're going to start by playing a snippet of the first track on the album, If You Want to Be a Rock Star, by Mr. Anderson, featuring St. Josh and Silence.
Yo, I want to shout out Mr. Anderson. Yeah. Let's go.
Mr. Anderson.
If you want to be a rock star, standing on a golf cart, lifestyle of a racer, in the city of angels. Yeah. Rockstar, Mick Jagger, Ozzy, Black Sabbath, trying to sell records like the Beatles. Still, I'm trying to get established. Ain't staying at the hotel with the Eagles.
So St. Josh, how did you come across that guy?
St. Josh was somebody, what was it? St. Josh I found on, St. Josh I found on Instagram, I believe.
Yeah.
He was an up-and-coming artist. Yeah, he's an up-and-coming artist, and I hit him up. I'm like, hey, man, I like your style, I like what you're doing. He's very honest in his work, as you can tell there. He doesn't talk about how great he is or anything. He says, I want to be an up-and-coming artist. I'm not getting the followers and yada, yada. And I really like that about him. And I hit him up, and we must have spent an hour where he just sent me voice messages back and forth about how he was doing everything he could, and he just had a lot of heart. And I think you know that my biggest thing is if you provide the heart, I can provide the music.
Yep.
And he just did really good. I liked him on that.
That's awesome. So is he just on the rap, or is he also on the hook?
No, somebody else is on the hook.
Oh, okay. Yep. Moving on. So if you want to be a rock
I'll
star,
just put out there. So the person on the hook is not allowed. I'm not allowed to use his name,
okay,
and that's okay.
yeah,
that happens.
We've addressed that. Is that same person on the next record?
Yes.
All right. We're gonna play a little bit of that next record here.
Play your part on this one.
Shut up, Mr. Anderson.
Baby girl,
There
I
you
was
go.
born hard. Got a long stick like a corn cob. I'm everywhere like OnStar. You wanna be a porn star? Love groupies, I could teach a fan. We the whole show. Tommy Lee and Pam. Got Riley Reid and Jordan Jones. Let Riley lead while Jordan moans.
So that record, fire. Like you played it for me. I had something instantly. You showed me Ness from the band on there. What made you pick Ness of the band?
It's so funny. People say that. I just, like I said, I really work hard at crafting and finding the right people. And I thought actually about Chopper City at first, and then I was just going through some different songs, and I just like Ness. He has such a his flow is just so easy. It's I mean he's one of the best freestyle rappers, right? I mean, in the world. And you just hear that on his songs. He just flows. It just comes so easy to him. And of course, I like his deeper voice. I think that's pretty cool.
Did we ever find out he said I need 10 more hoes like the Mandarin? Is that a Marvel reference?
I don't know. But
I love that. We
yeah,
got to
he
break
killed
down
it.
the bar sometimes.
Yeah,
That dude killed it.
Yeah.
He was always one of my favorites from the band, so it's an honor to be on the track with him.
So the band was Puff Daddy's. The band, it came out like 8 years ago for anybody that doesn't remember. And it's where he basically would go out and find artists, and he made a band. He called it Dub Band, and they actually had some pretty good tracks at the beginning, and then they had some fighting and stuff.
Yeah, internal issues.
Right.
But yeah, so if you want to be a rock star leads to if you want to be a porn star. The beats are similar. What made you put those two together, and was that intentional?
Yes, that was intentional. So I did a breakdown at the end of If You Want to Be a Rock Star, where I actually take the guitars out and I put in some what I would call filthy synth, and it gets real grimy or filthy in a breakdown, and it goes back to the guitar. And I liked it so much, and I got so much good feedback about it, that I decided to completely switch it on the next one. So I took the guitars out, put the synth in, and then on the breakdown, I brought back the guitars and yada yada. So it's basically yin and yang on the song. So I wanted to do a pop version, which is Rockstar, not pop, but something that you could put on the radio. And I wanted to do something that you couldn't put on the radio for Porn Star. And it was just kind of an alter ego, almost yin yang thing I wanted to do just to kind of start off the album.
That's awesome. All right, moving on through the album, Midwest Monster.
Mr. Anderson.
I make this look easy. Nobody came to change a game like this. It's easy. Got a fresh pair of Yeezys. Been behind the scenes and what they need on TV. I'm so different. My flow's hitting. Finally in the charts now. Go listen. I'm the goat. Never heard of sheep. It's an emergency. Clinical attack. It's a surgery.
Ooh, I just noticed those sirens in the back. That's pretty cool.
There's also an airplane taking off at the beginning.
Oh, okay. So Midwest Monster, I love whenever we can force you into the booth to rap. Like I wish you would do more of that. But that's a fun record. I think you come off just tough. Just I make this look easy. Just confidence, BDE all through the record.
Yep.
But it's actually almost the opposite of
Absolutely.
like you're a very humble guy. You're very to yourself. what's it like to get in the booth and actually just spit it yourself, being the engineer, the producer, and then the artist?
Terrifying.
Really?
Yeah. So Tone helped me a lot with this album, with this track especially. He helped me with a lot of the writing. He helped me with a lot of the flow because I'm not a rapper. I'm a writer, a producer, and he helped me a lot with that. So shout out to Tone. It's not just because I'm sitting here.
I appreciate it.
But yeah, I got on there and it felt good. And I didn't want to do the track until I heard the bar. Cocky on tracks, humble in person, and that kind of made me feel better. Because I mean, it's a very cocky track, but it's good because, to be completely honest, I want to tell the story about. I'm not just taking samples and clips and things like that and throwing them together. I'm playing the piano or the guitar or the bass a lot of the times, or I'm reversing this, and I'm doing a lot to build these tracks.
Yeah. You're very anti-sample.
Yeah, and I mean, I use them sometimes, but like you'll see people just drag an entire percussion set onto a track, and they'll copy it or duplicate it 16 times, and now they have their whole percussion set for the track, and that just drives me crazy. I build each part and I separate them and I make sure that they're all animated together, but that's just me. I mean, I'm not saying anything bad about anybody else. It's just
No, you work hard, man, and it needs the recognition. And these are masterpieces that you put together, and it's your art. So that's why I like the way that Midwest Monster flows, although it doesn't reflect you directly all the time. We all have that inner voice. And we all need to be proud of our work. So that's why that record ended up being what it is. And I think it's dope. Again, it's just art. It's an expression. So it doesn't always need to directly reflect who you are.
You can tell a story.
Exactly.
I like it. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of telling a story, I almost want to jump to you right now,
Not
but we'll give this one a spin real quick, and we'll talk about that record.
Mr. Anderson.
This is the dark alley right here.
It feels like the spirits are calling him. I feel like in real life they're walking dead. They're following zombies, what's in your head? At 4 in the morning, I channel my inner demons. Believe in my inner Jesus. I channel my inner genius. No matter the weather, forever it's killing season. My flow is so fearless, you're fearing with skills that cannot be compared to these little heathens. Not just a lyrical genius.
Let him get the chorus. Let him hear your chorus.
Exposing you hoes on the low, cause you know that I'm dope and you won't give me hope. You quote what I wrote, cause you know I'm the GOAT. You better take notes, get ready, let's go.
This watch on my wrist like an iceberg. Get ready, I'm ready like Piper. You love her, I don't even like her. I'm all on her head like a visor. This chain on my neck like an iceberg. This oil hit makes me hyper.
Turn this baby up in your car, wherever it is, and it's gonna break something.
I
love her headphones.
You love her, I don't even like her. I'm all on her head visor. This chain on my neck like an iceberg. This oil hit makes me
Man.
hyper.
All right, so I'm gonna do a little bit of talking about this record. From the moment you played the beat, like one thing that I absolutely love when we get together is you'll be skimming through your beats and like, oh, I'm not done with this. I'm not done, and I'll be like, hey, wait, what's that?
Yeah,
what's that?
Happened multiple times.
Like, and once this started playing, I need that. I want that. I got something. You're like, there's no way you have something. I'm like, but I was like, what I hear is Kanye's Black Skinhead record, 4 in the morning. It's a number. They say it's zest. It's an owner. So then I started writing. You see the heroes is walking in, and then they be like, I channel my inner Yeezus. So I made sure I always shout out the artists that inspired me for the record. But that beat was just absolutely amazing. And then when we, the sample says iceberg. So I wrote a hook for Iceberg. I rapped the hook, and I think you hit me and said, hey, I had somebody redo the hook. And I'm like, motherfucker. I was like, here it goes. Let's hear it. And she killed it.
I love her.
That's Ivy Marie again.
Yes.
Like, you guys have several tracks together. She's up there with me and you on how many tracks you have with her. And I love just her saying the bars. And then there's something she does that would have absolutely been impossible for me, but it reminds me of the 90s X-Men. And it's that high pitch.
Yeah.
And I just absolutely love it. It just hits that nostalgia. So kudos to you on the production on that record, letting me have that freedom to do my verses in that style, and then having the creativity to say, I'm going to have this chick do the chorus, and she just killed it. Like,
And you said, because you did the chorus, and your chorus sounded amazing. And I said, just like you said, let me bring this other person in for this. I want to try something. And I brought her and I played it for you, and I'll never forget. I think this is what you said. It was something like this, but you said, "Oh, you want an anthem? Okay."
right.
Because that's what it really does. Is when we break up your voice with another voice, and then we come back and the energy level's there, and she's hitting those high notes with the low layers. It just makes it a song, an anthem versus like a mixtape. And now it takes your amazing lyrics and flow, and it makes it so that the general public can hear it versus just a mixtape.
Exactly.
Nothing wrong with mixtapes.
I was going to say, hold on, I got a mixtape on the way.
Just a different.
But yeah, it feels like a full song
Right.
After adding her to it and her bringing out different elements. I really like the creativity on that one. So I'm going to play this record. This is actually a remix of a record that originally was on the Finally album. Let's check it out.
Remember what I did for this town. When it's trying to ride, I was always down. Remember what I did for the town. I ain't here to play around with
I'm going to skim through it. Got to make them listen to the album.
Daily. May I be an inspiration to be something different than what you see in this nation, cause it's crazy. They made up inner cities by pouring concrete in
Boy,
the flowers
Klazik.
and killing the flowers that grew up out of it. I'm not a product of my environment. I'm of a higher kind.
I did it for the kids, for your child. I'm the future, and the future starts now.
My name is Craig. Read a few bars, get that like every L that I face. Remove the CR, force an opportunity to pick up the pace, cause I'm a bloodhound. Always down for a chase, except for pussy and shots.
I love he tells his entire like life
does,
story.
yeah.
Like, so what made you from the Finally album pick that song as the one that needs a remix?
Because that is absolutely my favorite beat on that first album that I every time you wanted to play It's the Weekend, I would say, yeah, but let's listen to this.
Right.
You know, like I like that one too, and I would just crank it up and the blinds would shake. And I like the story. I like the positive story. You don't hear a lot of positive stuff, and that grew from you saying, kids, you know, I want you to grow up better than I did. And that meant a lot to me. I really, really like that. And I've like I said, I go through and I listen to all these different artists, and I heard about this classic person and listen to some of his stuff. And I'm like, oh, listen to the story he's telling.
He's perfect for that record. Like,
And he just, you know, he's very conscious. He's very, very smart. And then Crate has that southern drawl almost, that Cleveland swag. And I think they're both from Cleveland, aren't they?
I know Classic's originally from Cleveland. I feel like Crate is further down south.
Okay. But I just really liked them together. I liked them wanting to tell a story, and then keeping you obviously in there so that you could bring everybody back in the chorus about, you know, before I die, I want things to be better.
Yep. Facts.
And that came out during a lot of the you know, the race wars issues that we were having, and you, I mean, that was you told such a powerful story. I wanted to make sure that was we gave some more artists a chance to talk about it.
Yeah. So let's talk about this record right here.
Then see me, literally.
We got you spitting
no skills,
again.
No ability, been doing this shit since 1993.
93, huh?
These two yeah, there we go.
See the feet, we the wolves bringing heat for the sheep. Keep knocking, keep rocking, bang every
So
track.
I'm the one who knocks. How long ago did we record that?
4 years, I think.
Is it just 4?
I think it is.
Okay.
I could be wrong. That was right when it was a couple years after Breaking Bad ended. For anybody that doesn't know, it's a Breaking Bad reference.
Yeah.
And it basically is just a quick synopsis. It's about him sitting on the bed and his wife saying that she's scared that somebody's going to come get him, and him finally admitting to her, "You don't have to worry about somebody coming to get me.
Yeah, someone's not going to
I'm
knock
the
on my
one
door. And,
that does the knocking.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm the one who knocks.
Yeah.
And that's where that came from. So that kind of grew a story about just some different maybe personal issues we had. We don't name any names, but some personal issues we had, and we just wanted to kind of put it out there. And Tone always pushed me to put it out. I felt like this was the time. So
What's super cool is Breaking Bad. I remember specifically you and another coworker were talking about it and introduced me to the show. And then after that, I did the Breaking Bad recap songs.
It was
and that was
amazing.
probably the first songs I really showed you.
Yep.
And then from there, I think you made this beat with
Yep.
the sample at the beginning.
Yep.
So it was kind of always something in the works. So, Breaking Bad has been a reoccurring theme
Yeah, that's true.
for our little
For anybody who
collaboration
doesn't
here.
know, Tone put out Breaking Bad 1, 2, and 3 and literally told the story of the entire season while rhyming all the way through. It's amazing.
There's a video to it now. I got to show you.
There is?
Yeah. He
Oh, yeah.
chopped up every last scene that I mentioned.
gosh, I didn't
it's
know that.
ridiculous, but it's hella good. Shout out Big Bang for that one. So that'll be on the TikTok shortly. All right, let's get to this next record here. Beats funky. Is Spitty on the hook or is that a sample?
That's a sample.
She too cute, don't need to smile. Murk the whole game like they tried to take that ass to trial. That's my style.
I love it. It just reminds me of It's Tricky, like the good classic hip hop. All right, can't give him too much.
Yeah, Show My Girl. Here we go.
Lipstick cherry red, addicted to it like cigarettes. Never ever gonna let her leave my bed. She
Wow, girl. That one is definitely one of my favorites on the album. It's it's dope. It's funky. Like I said, it gives me that 90s good classic hip hop vibe. They killed it. I love that you brought those two artists together. Like that is dope. Talk about that record.
Yeah, so I have themes for every song, and I had a theme I wanted to talk about, that baddie, that girl that is just has everything together, and she's smart and sexy and cool. And I wanted somebody to talk about it. And then I wanted to bring my girl Devmo in, and she could talk about having a crush on this girl. And so bringing them both in together and doing that, it was just such an amazing experience. The first one was Spitty, and the second one was Devmo. And Devmo is just one of our favorites. Absolutely. She's blowing up here in the
How many
Midwest.
tracks you got with Dev now?
Total?
4 or 5 now,
4,
right?
I think. I'd have to double check. Maybe 3 or 4.
Yeah.
So I think
Dev
I
is
might have some-
amazing.
yeah.
Shout out Devmo. Let's get to this record. I'm excited about this one.
Drew up fuck the blue. Bitch, just me, I stack the blooms. Talk that poo, go meet your doom. Think, but they really like you, yo. I don't care, I lie from with my goonies. Spoken until we do see as long as I'm with the.
Goonies. Riding with the goonies. Goonies. Riding with the goonies. Goonies.
That hook is dirty. Beat's dirty.
Goonies. Goonies. Riding with the goonies.
Get them goodies, get them gains. I'm spunking on my flame. What the fuck? I super pain. It don't matter what the range. We can make the shit arrange. All you bitches all the same shit.
I heard the Buu in the background. I never
Every
thought.
day get payday. Like the lip, like Mayday.
Buu is such a different artist. Like, I get excited every time I hear about him doing a record or doing a show. It's so different. Like, he really grew on me. When I first heard it, I was like, what the hell? What is this? And his passion and how he's not afraid to be different and how he really just found himself with the different voices, the quiet, the loud. I'm always impressed by him, and it's so different, but I could just tell it's so good. What's your opinion on Buu and working with him? What was
My
that like?
opinion, like yours, is that he kind of blindsided us right away, and we were like, what is this? Mm-hmm. But I think with people, I think just giving people a chance instead of the 5-second rule that is nowadays, everything needs to be instant. Mm-hmm. You give him a chance, and you're like, oh, wait a second, he's got a craft here. He's doing something special. It's just not something that's mainstream. And with him being so different with his alien voice, I like to call it, or his 6ix9ine drop, I like to call it. Those are compliments, Boo. But I brought him over, and I really wanted to try this different track. Like, it cuts off at the beginning, and it drops into the track right away, and it's supposed to be a different sound. And I actually got some great feedback from like Crate Reckless and some other people, and they're like, this is a different type of music. This is different. You're creating a different type of music. And I love it. Buu Kilo came in and he gave me what he had, and it was awesome. So
Buu
very
is
happy.
an amazing artist. I love watching this come up and where he started, where he's at now, and I'm excited to see where he goes.
Absolutely.
I feel like Goonies, like I love that that's the record. That movie, obviously, to older cats means a lot. And to myself, you know, it was a group of outcasts coming together. So the fact that you and him have a record called Goonies,
Thank you.
it's
I'm
like the
glad somebody got
perfect
that.
fit.
Yeah.
So I thought that was dope. And then the last song on the album, this one I'm pretty excited
This
to
is my
talk
favorite
about.
song.
Let's see how we should kick this off. Give him a little bit of the verse.
Franchise. She my butterfly. Make me fantasize. Let me analyze the situation she got me facing. When her face amazing, and her body's banging. I'm obsessing over this chick, and she don't even know I exist. She don't know I.
That's all we're gonna give him. You're
God,
gonna
I
need
could
to
talk
listen
about
to
this
the
song for
album.
days.
Let's give him a little bit of background on it. How many verses did you make me write to this shit?
I think it was literally 6. It might have been more.
I think it was 6. I think 6 was the
but
number.
I brought a Tone over, and I had a very specific story I wanted to tell and how to do it. And Tone, the consummate artist, he does a great job. Doesn't hurt his feelings. I mean, he gave me 3 different verses that were phenomenal. I said, that's just, I like those for something else, but not for this.
Yeah, you had a specific direction. And one thing that drives me crazy about you and Chuck is like you guys see this untapped potential in me, and I'm like, dude, I do this,
Well,
and I guess, but eventually I hit the target that you guys are going for and that you set for me. But like I thought all verses were good, but you was like, I know where this needs to be. Don't know what it is you need to say, but you got it. Try again, and like. I was obviously frustrated, but I hope you didn't take it the wrong way. Like, no, I'm gonna get like I'm a person that has to hit the target. I have to give you full satisfaction, or I'm not satisfied with myself or my work. So when you're telling me do it again, and I'm like frustrated and writing like harder and harder and harder, I love that shit. Like I live for that. Like I live to be challenged, and I want to always grow and be better as an artist. This song was probably my biggest challenge, and it's because I also had an idea where I wanted it to go. Once we kind of tied in the You show concept, I knew exactly what I needed to do. I wanted to channel a different character, obviously not myself. I wanted to write from that perspective, and then I wanted to be as descriptive as possible. So instead of listening to a song, you put yourself as if you're watching the show.
Yeah, it was. We really spent some time really going deep on this, because
Like
basically
2
what it
sessions
was is I was trying out some new techniques for bass, and that's where that kind of started from. Is the beginning is a huge drop into bass, and it'll shake.
Yeah.
And I wanted to really make that cut through, so I had to work on some sound design, and I really started to like it a lot, and I added to it, and it was one of those times when everything was just working out. And then we were talking about it, and we're like, there's a mood here. And we talked about the show You, which if anybody hasn't seen it, it's about a guy that's obsessed with a girl. So then we started talking through that, and Tone didn't want to come across as a guy obsessed with a girl, especially with everything going on right now.
I
in
can't
real life,
sound
you start
rapey.
to think that's exactly what it was. You don't want to fall into that situation where like, are people going to think I'm actually, And artists think about that. If you guys don't know that, they think about how they're going to be perceived. And we said, well, let's do it in third person.
Yeah.
And so we started doing it in third person. And then we really started to tell his story. He'd say this, and this. I'd say, but she doesn't know that he's like that yet. And we spent a lot of time on this.
It was probably like 3 or 4 sessions, honestly, on this one record.
And then I wanted his voice to sound grimy, like that, dirty, like somebody that you don't know.
Yeah.
So I added a lot of distortion and effects to his voice. And then you actually hear in the second verse, you'll hear where it starts. He comes out from the vocals sound like he's coming from like a different alter ego, and then it comes into his voice, and you'll hear it come back in again. And that was purposeful. And it's just something that we really want to tell that story, and we purposely made it a part 1 because we loved it so much. We're going to do a part 2, but I mean, it's about this guy that is obsessed with this girl, and he does things he shouldn't to try to protect her, or love her or whatever it might be, and it just kind of goes back and forth. But it's absolutely it's a great story. Tone tells such a great story.
It's fun. It's fun, yeah. And I'm a big fan of like the show You and then Dexter and like stuff like
exactly.
that. So that gives me something different to write about, a different perspective, and it's a dope challenge. So thank you for challenging me for that. A great record was made from it. The chorus like says so much. I was like, we can go this way, this way, this way. I think we found the right way.
That's right. That was the other part. Was we were talking about the chorus. That's right.
Yep. Well, man, that is A Dark Alley in Cedar Rapids. It's an album. How many tracks total? 9 track album. No more than 25 minutes. Available on all streaming platforms. I'm excited to see where this record goes. Like it's definitely one of my favorite projects that I've been involved in. So thank you. We got a little game that we do here that we cannot end this podcast without doing.
Can I say something before you do
can, but we're gonna come back.
That's
also.
fine. Perfect.
Go ahead.
This better not be a 5-finger anything because I'm not doing anything.
Oh man, are you ready?
No, hold on. Real quick. This album meant a lot to me. I want to thank everybody. Tone, obviously. My family, my mom, Kara, my wife, everybody. I want to shout out Soundbox, Brian Lee, Limmer, Schultz, everybody. I really appreciate all you guys and for supporting. In Midwest, let's come together and let's make some damn music together.
Yeah.
Help each other, follow each other, push each other. Let's come together. Everybody work together and let's put Midwest on the map.
Yeah. Vote for this man on the Iowa Music Awards too. Engineer, producer,
not
studio.
Engineer. We'll leave that to Lynn. He's got me on that.
But yeah, man, it's all about us coming together, working together. You do a great job. Like I said, I'll be naming this episode "The Glue." Because you are the glue that's bringing these guys together that otherwise wouldn't be. So the little game that I have, you ready? You got your bars?
I'm not doing it.
I'm just talking shit. Jesus. All right, it's a little game. Like he's so nervous. You can see his heart jumping out of his fucking shirt.
I'm not a freestyle rapper.
All right, it's a simple game of this or that.
Okay.
You pick one or the other. You do not get to say neither. You don't get to say skip. You don't get to say both. You must pick one or the other.
Games.
We will not be given an explanation unless asked for the explanation. Right. Are you ready?
Nope.
Let's get it. Humble or prideful?
Humble.
What's more important, streams or followers?
Followers.
This one's going to be fun for you. Cheat on your girl or get cheated on?
Get cheated on.
You guys. Trying to say the right answer. What's more important, who you know or what you know?
Unfortunately, it's who you know.
What lifestyle is happier, monogamy or to be polygamous?
Monogamy.
What's more important, to be honest or preserve the friendship?
Be honest.
Would you rather have more friends or more business partners?
Friends.
What's more important, street cred or business rep? Nope. Pick street cred or business rep. Pick
street cred.
Yeah, all right. You're not the first to say that. Tough relationship or have it easy single?
Oh, single or tough relationship?
Have it easy single or tough relationship? Which one are you going with?
Tough relationship.
All right. Jordan or LeBron?
Who's LeBron?
He would piss a lot of the previous people off on this show.
Silly.
Thank you. But it's few of us. We're fading out, unfortunately. It's really disheartening.
Weird.
What's more important about a girl? And I know you haven't dated for a while, but do you prefer a low body count or more experience?
Oh, low body count.
All right. Do you believe a man pays or you should always go Dutch?
Man pays.
Is it more important to be chivalrous? I can never say that word right. Or masculine? One or the other.
Chivalrous.
All right. Do you prefer to see women be independent women or equal partnership?
That's a weird.
Yeah, pick one. Doesn't want to say the wrong answer. Pick one. Equal
together.
Partnership.
What was the
equal
one?
partnership? Yeah. All right. Simple. It gets easier. Patron or Henny?
Patron.
What's more important, shock value or repeat value? Pick one.
Repeat.
All right.
This is tough.
This one, it's so easy.
It's not because I don't know what
There's no right answer. Say what's right to you. We got 2 more. This one is really, really important to me. If you say the wrong answer, we might not be friends anymore. Are you ready?
Eminem.
Are you ready?
Oh.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
This is really important.
Okay.
Our friendship is on this.
Okay.
Poncheros or Chipotle?
Chipotle.
Fuck you. Wow. Are you
Chipotle
serious?
has better vegetables.
It's fucking disgusting.
All taste
Are you
better.
serious?
Nah, man.
Ponchero. Oh my God. This guy. Wow. All right. We'll just get this last one over with. Is it more important to overplan or go with the flow?
Overplan.
Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, that was another episode of Talkin' Top Tier. Great answers on this and that. I mean, I don't agree with the food taste, but everything else seemed pretty aligned with who you are, and
Yeah.
I appreciate all these answers except the Chipotle one. But anyway, Kel, man, Mr. Anderson, it has been a pleasure. I love sitting down with you. This is the second time we did this, and I really hope people will listen to the album, appreciate it, appreciate you and what you do. You better submit for the music awards. We got some best collaborations definitely on there. But you know, I actually made a post inspired by you today. You know, the music awards isn't about who has the most followers or fans. It's not a popularity contest. It's literally trying to do what you're doing, which is being that glue that's bringing everyone together. It's more of a networking event, and it's more for the little guy in his basement that doesn't want to do the shows, that doesn't have a lot of streams and followers, that just wants to get heard. And also, we work our asses off.
Yep.
We deserve some type of recognition, and I feel like this is one platform to do it. So really want you to submit, whether you do or not. You got a dope album out, A Dark Alley in Cedar Rapids. Find it on all streaming platforms. And how can they find you, Mr. Anderson?
I am under Listen Stupid on almost every social media network. It's my brand. And that's where you can find me, Listen Stupid.
Listen Stupid. Find them on Instagram, Facebook. What's that group that you have on Facebook?
Midwest Talent Network.
And what's the purpose of that group?
Glue.
Being the glue. All right, you heard it here first. This is Talking Top Tier. I'm your boy, Tone the Boss. Make sure y'all check out that album, A Dark Alley in Cedar Rapids by Mr. Anderson. Y'all have a good one. Till next time.
Peace.